Rise with Stitch channel. I'm Katie. I'm in Indiana and I love to make all the things. And I do mean all the things. So I'm ready to fill you in on my giant pile of stuff I've completed recently. It's been a while since I came on and talked to you all, so I have a lot to show you. And we probably won't even get to the plans I have or the stuff that I've been getting in the mail because there's so much to show you that I have actually finished. So we will get to that. And if I am walking through the house and stumble upon other things I finished but did not remember, I'll show you in the future. They're probably out there. It's been a lot. But they're all good. You're going to see. And I hope you make them too. They're so fun. So I guess let's just get right to it. There's a lot. And I'm sorry, there's 1,000 lights on in here. November went from 70 degrees to like 30 degrees and overcast. It's so dark outside and cold. So in here we put lots of lights on so that you can actually see me and the things that I made. But if it looks like I'm standing in a giant spotlight, that is why. Because otherwise I'd be in shadow realm in my room. Like I'm staring at a window. It's dark. Sorry. So we went with lights. You're welcome. Yeah, let's get to it. Here's something I finished. I showed you guys, I think last time, this blanket from Pearl Soho. It's called the Daybreak blanket. And they use linen quill, which is it's my all-time favorite yarn. You'll see I made other things in it. I mean, basically this is a Pearl Soho commercial. I don't know why. I just have been loving their kits and it's been really fun to go through them. So anyway, when I came to you guys, I think I was like here, maybe somewhere like that. And then, you know, I went the rest of the way through the blanket all the way to the end. And if you remember my complaints from last time, I do love to complain while making things that I love. It's a seed stitch, so it's like purl knit, purl knit, purl knit, purl knit, purl knit all the way across, which takes so much time. But also awful about the pattern is that you are going lengthwise across the blanket, not widthwise, right, which is shorter, so you make your rectangle. You're going the long way, which gives you really fun stripes down the blanket. I'll admit, it was worth it. Obviously, I finished it, but you have to really want it. You have to really want it. But they are so pretty. You have to keep going to get to the next color. I mean, look at these colors. Oh, and I can see all my weaved in ends. Oh, here, let me show you the other side. You just happen to catch that part. I mean, their colors are so good. The texture, and it feels so great. And as you use it, it kind of like breaks up that bit of linen in the stitch so that it feels even softer. It's the best. I love this blanket. It is quite a generous size. I don't know if you can see, we can't even get it all in. That's how big it is. So it is awesome. This one has been on my bed. You know, it went straight to being used because we worked hard for this one. We really did, but I like it. That's my second linen quill blanket. Lord knows if they made a third, I would probably have to make that one too. They're just so pretty. They're so pretty. So yeah, you should totally do something with it. I'm sure you could find it's just fingering weight yarn. So any colors that you like and just make some fun stripes. I had so much fun. And now I have a giant awesome blanket, which we all want in our life, right? And then another thing I talked about before the break was shawls. I was really trying to figure out which shawl to make. And I had options, like so many options to choose from that it was becoming hard. But I did settle on the What the Fade shawl. I believe that's Andrea Mowry. This is my second time making the shawl. The first time I went from dark blue to orange, which was super pretty. And I think I used hedgehog fibers for that shawl. And this time I used, her name is Yarn Cafe Creations. Her espresso fingering is one of my favorite yarns. It's so buttery soft, and her colors are really nice. Everything I've gotten from her has been great quality. Like the bases that she chooses are really great. So if you're looking, I recommend her for sure. But now I'll just show you the shawl. I'm trying to decide which side to show you. We'll go with this one, I guess. So here, can you see? It's so big and it's got tassels on the end. Ah, I love it so much. You can see you just go like the beginning starts, you start like right here in the center. It's super tiny. You do brioche for a bit, which if you don't know brioche, it's like double-sided knitting basically, and it seems super scary when you start. And there's tons of tutorials all over YouTube. I'm a graduate of YouTube University in knitting. It seems very scary, but it's actually super simple. And really most of the stitches you're just slipping. So if you are interested, I say go for it. It was really fun. This was one of the first brioche things I tried, was this first shawl. So you can do it. It's super fun. But yeah, you just fade from, you know, one color. It takes 6 colors. And so I just went all the way up to the orange. I believe these were, she dyed them using My Little Pony as her inspiration. Don't know anything about My Little Pony. Got a bunch of boys around here, but the colors were fun and bright, and I really needed a fun and bright project. I love this shawl because it is giant. So, you know, it's perfect for like a summer evening when you just kind of get a little chilly and you want something around the shoulder. It's just really nice. It's a really nice size. I like big shawls, but you know, not everybody does. And then the next thing I'll show you, I finished this Turtle Dove. Turtle Dove is the name. It's got like, I think it's, is that called a dolman sleeve? Like the raglan comes all the way down to like here before you split for stitches. You split for sleeves, sorry. So the sleeves are like, you know, just a few inches. But the yarn is Woolfolk Luft, L-U-F-T. And it's like this cotton tube that they blow fiber into. So it's so light, but like fluffy and warm. It's like this really amazing mix of heavy sweater, but that weighs nothing. I don't know how they do it, but it's magic. Anyway, it's like this plummy color. Can you see the tube is like white and then they put the fiber in it? So great. So great. This would be amazing for a sweater pattern because it's really simple and the instructions are really clear, and it's got very big yarn on big needles, so you're not taking forever. You could finish this sweater in a couple weeks, you know, more if I guess you're crazy knitting, but it's such a flattering shape on like everyone. So go to Ravelry, look up Turtle Dove. It's a free pattern. And then I think Knit Picks or Drops Air have, you know, similar yarns that aren't as expensive because it is a pricier yarn, but there are great alternatives, and it is just the best sweater ever. This is my second Turtle Dove. See a theme? We just went with what was comforting and fun to make that I knew I'd like. I really wanted to start making sweaters and garments that I wanted to wear. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to feel like something I would buy for myself, not just that was fun to make. So I was trying to be a bit more picky about what I was knitting as a garment. And I think it worked out. You guys will have to tell me eventually when you see them on, but that way you feel like wearing them more. I think in the beginning I wasn't sure of the yarns I wanted to knit with. And I picked a lot of colors that I don't wear a lot, or that, I don't know, it just didn't turn out into a garment that I was excited about putting on. And that's kind of a big waste of money and time. So I've learned so much better now, right? I'm so much smarter. I try. Yeah. And then another sweater. Are you ready? This one is called Lento, Lento. Oh, the magic of this sweater. I know it's another simple one. I have a different kind back here, but this yarn is so amazing. It feels so nice when you put this sweater on. You just want to live in it. I wish you could reach through and grab it. Seriously, I'll just sit here and pet it all day. It's so nice. The pattern, again, super simple. It did have like this folded collar. That's the word. It had a folded collar, which I hadn't done before. Really liked doing that. I love the way it looks. It kind of gives you that, you know, your rib continues along the top, which looks really nice when you wear it. But you hold two yarns together. It's like a single ply. I got this yarn from Sonder Yarn Co. Another beautiful yarn maker. So it's like a single ply yarn that's really silky and lovely, held with their mohair, which was also amazing. And this color was fun. I hadn't made anything in this color. I really like it. It is simple. It's pretty short when you wear it, you know, not, I wouldn't say super cropped, but natural waist. So, oh, I was so proud of this one. It was so cute. But again, simple, classic things I want to wear. If you haven't figured out what you like wearing yet, make them all, but that's where I'm ending up. But yeah, oh, it's so cute. It feels so good. Their yarn is amazing. If you're wondering, that's another great dyer to buy from Sonder Yarn Co. Yay! And then I went on like a sock knitting adventure because the pattern and the color just, it called my name. And so these are the Totally Rad Ribbed Socks by Summer Lee. I think it's Summer Lee Designs or Knits. She makes so many sock patterns. They are so adorable, all of them. But I really fell in love with the yarn that she had used, so I wanted to try that. So the yarn is like this tweedy sock yarn, which is so fun. I hadn't used tweed before in a fingering weight like for socks. These are Little Lionhead Knits. She is the one this base came from. And I liked it so much that I went and got a few other skeins and made pairs for my husband and my youngest son, who was trying to wear these. They didn't quite fit him. But the pattern and the yarn were so enjoyable together that I had to make more of them. That's how good it was. I loved this folded brim. Like, can you see, instead of doing ribbing at the top, you just kind of do, you know, a normal couple inches, and then you fold it over and then go on with your sock. And the sock stays up so nicely. I really like it. And her yarn, like this red, was so fun. It was really good. I loved this yarn. So like I said, I went and got more. Are you ready? Finished more socks. Same pattern. Yeah, that's it again. Look at that yarn. It's so fun. Oh, the husband loved the socks. He has worn them many times, which makes me happy because they take longer. Big feet. You have to love someone to knit them socks. This is a lot of knitting on very tiny needles. But again, I'm dialing it down. I was using size 1 needles, and my socks just were a little looser than I wanted, but I was really afraid to go down to, you know, the number of stitches that a lot of people knit at. I don't know, it sounds like so little. So instead I went down a needle size to size 0. That's right, size 0. They are very small, but I think it's right on. Like now, the last pair that I knit, I'll show you for myself, fit like just right. So maybe I'm onto something. I may have just discovered like the right size to tension ratio that I needed. It's so, when you're making your own stuff, you kind of have to figure out as you go along. But yeah, he really likes them. He wears them a lot. we both got Birkenstocks and have been wearing our knit socks and other fun socks to show off. So it really makes me happy that I can wear my socks out and people see them. But yeah, then as I said, my youngest wanted to wear these socks, and it wasn't gonna work out because we both can't wear them, and they were 15 sizes too big. So I made him his own little socks. Ah! Aren't they so cute? Look at her yarn. Oh, this tweed is so great. So I used some leftover from my husband's to make his toes and heels, and then this was, the yellow is Posy actually, which is not the same yarn at all, but I thought he'd really like the stripe. So he loves them. He wears them all the time, which is a bit of a problem because usually when I wash my knits, I get like the bucket out and the wool wash, and you let it sit and wring it out and then let it dry, slowly over a day. But with a little boy who wants to wear these socks all the time, I put them in the washer. I know it's like, record scratch. You're really not supposed to do that with your knits if you want them to last, but let's be honest, he'll grow out of these socks in like a year if I'm lucky. So I just went for it. I put them in the washer, I put them in the dryer, and they still are like totally fine. Have we been lied to? Is this like some secret, like the wool wash people don't want you to know? I can't do it with my other socks, but man, it really worked out for his. So if you want to take the plunge with me, kid socks seemed like the place to do it. It worked out. I was a little worried, but they were small. It didn't take too long to make them. It seemed like a bet worth taking, and it was. So at least her yarn did fine in there. I've heard horror stories of things shrinking, and like it's a lot of effort to waste, so be careful. Be careful. It worked for me. Anyway, on to the next thing I made. More linen quill, more Pearl Soho patterns. They had a half and a half shawl that went like crazy. I think it was last year. And so it was literally just 2 triangles, and you knit it in a really neat way where you're basically using short rows. So like you go across the bottom and then you come back across and do a short row so that you're not knitting like this very last stitch, and you do that all the way up to make a triangle, and then you come and pick all the way back up and do it again on the other side. So the construction was really fun, and of course everyone likes their yarn or just a really simple. That one was 2 colors, so each triangle was like a color, and then they came out with a pattern where they striped it. So I had to try that because they came out with new linen quill colors. I had to try the new colors. I don't know, can you see like this row of, these are drawers, like this here, that's all linen quill. I love it. I use it for toys, I use it for, all the things, and now I have the scraps in so many different colors. But of course, it came out with new colors, so I had to try the new colors. I got a kit, and it was beautiful. It is a giant shawl, and it took quite a while. Longer than I wanted. Again, I don't know why I do this to myself, but look how pretty. Here, I'll back up. Can you see? Here it all is. It's so nice. It's like that was a new color, and some of these like pickly greens were new. It was awesome. I love these colors. I had gotten like a green jacket for fall, so I was like, this will be perfect. I can wear it with my jacket. And then it became 30 degrees, so not exactly jacket weather, but I did finish the shawl. So next fall, I gotcha. Like, I'm ready. But I just love linen quill. I don't know what it is about the yarn, the texture. Like, it's just, I don't know. It speaks to me. So I keep making all the things. But this was a really fun shawl. I wish I knew other people that liked shawls, because I think it'd make a really nice gift. But I'll just keep all the things for myself. I need more people that like shawls in my life. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna make people like all the shawls. I love them. I wear them like to work because you can wear a short sleeve with a shawl and not feel too warm in the office. Kind of like wherever you are, you can adjust. So I love it. I wear shawls a lot actually to work because it just kind of work. It gives you so much flexibility. Who knows what room you're in, and if that one's hot and the next one's freezing, I can just do whatever I want. And I don't look crazy with like a blanket in the office or something. I've seen those people too, so I just bring my shawl and I'm covered. And then, okay, we're almost to the end of the things I have made. And I can already think of like 2 things that I did not bring in here, so I'll have to go over those next time. But anyway, again, I went on a sock ride with Summer Lee Knits. She had another pattern called Cider. I'll put the name down below. It's Cider something. And they had these cables. I'll show you how I actually did cables. This is my first cable project. I think I've been knitting, what, almost 20 years? Never done cables. I think I've tried once and like hated it. But it was so enjoyable on these tiny socks. I don't know why, but I loved it. So, can you see the cables? I did it. It's like a whole thing. Anybody else get really proud of themselves when you learn a new skill? It wasn't just cables, they're like tiny cables. So again, I went down to size 0 needles and the socks fit so well. Like they really fit differently than the other size. It made a huge difference. And this yarn is again Little Lionhead Knits. She makes really beautiful sock yarn. I think this is called Dutch Courtyard or something like that. It came with this orange mini. And then I used Posy again, which is like an off-white, fuzzy, fun. It was like the only off-white fingering weight yarn I had sitting around. So, you know, it got picked up because I wanted that contrast with the ribbing at the top, which looks so fun. I loved them. I loved these socks. I asked my husband if he thought they were girly because I would make him a pair. I think he said they were not. So, you know, maybe you'll see a future bigger pair for him. The cables were a bit, you know, labor intensive. And on the second sock, for some reason I maybe made 3 mistakes as I was going, like turning the cable the wrong way or forgetting a cable like on one of the back, you know, last little ones around the round. And I went and fixed them, which is a huge deal. Like, I don't know if you guys are, you know, newer knitters, but finally being able to fix mistakes feels like such a liberating way to make things. It used to be so hard. Like once you made a mistake, you had to frog way back and like take everything out or leave it and be upset. So being able to like drop down and see what I'm doing, like understand how to fix it, feels like I'm a magician. I'm like a witch. That's where we're at. I can fix my mistakes. And you can't see them. Like no one would know. It feels so amazing. If you guys have been able to do that all along, I'm very jealous. That's pretty new for me as a self-taught knitter from like a booklet when I was 18. I really went a very long time not understanding how this all worked and how to go back and adjust what I was doing. So it feels really good. And I guess because I'm just knitting all the time, it's become like a skill I have acquired. I'm very proud. It's really hard to fix mistakes, it seemed, and now I'm getting there. I'm so proud. It makes all the difference because you can actually mess up and still enjoy your project. It's not like a big deal. It's great. I want that for all of you. If you want me to try and show you a few things, like I can attempt it. I can attempt. I want to share the wealth. Aren't they so pretty? So yeah, this was a beautiful cider house socks. I'll put it up because you want this pattern. It was so fun to make. And the cables weren't that bad. I mean, it was only every 7 rows you had to do the cable round. You can do that. I did it. I'm very lazy. Are they so pretty? So yeah, now I want to wear them with my Birkenstocks, even though it's 30 degrees out, and show everyone awesome socks. People love it. So, you know, I'm just going to make everyone knit in the world. I was knitting, standing in line for voting. I don't know if any of you went and voted. I did, and there was quite a line. So I had my knitting. I'll show you what I was knitting. But everyone in the line kept commenting on it. And one of them was like, I used to knit. And I kind of set it down, and she's like, I couldn't figure out what to make. And I said, well, this is the universe telling you to pick it back up. It's super fun. You should be out there making things. So hopefully she did. Everyone should knit. It's amazing. That's what I did on voting day. Just try to convert everyone I saw. Matt was almost bored enough to learn. So we're getting closer. It's my ultimate goal. No, because then I'd have to share my yarn. There can only be one knitter in this house because I'm not sharing any of this yarn. It's all mine. Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. I did share some scraps with my son of fabric. He really thinks he wants to stitch things right now. So we were playing with fabric, and he was digging in my just piles of old scraps. And so that was fun. And if he actually started sewing, I would share my fabric with him. But he's a lot sweeter and smaller. So I let him do pretty much whatever he wants with my craft things. I want them to be crafty too. Yeah. But then, okay. Last thing I made, this is the most recent finish, and I didn't intend to start this, but when the yarn showed up, it was so beautiful that I cast it on and knit nothing else. I literally hurt my hands. I could not stop knitting. I had to wear like braces to sleep because my hands hurt. So yeah, I should be careful in the future and not buy more. I want to make another one already. Like I have the plan in my head. I know what I want. So it's coming, but I'll make myself slow down. That was not good. Anybody else do that? I do. This is the Easy V sweater by Caitlin Hunter, I believe. I've made another of her patterns. They were fun. She makes just really striking sweaters. They're gorgeous. They always have color work, which I think the last color work I did was something of hers, and it was so enjoyable. So this is Recollect Worsted, and that's a new yarn by Farmer's Daughter Fibers. They're in Montana, and I love their yarn. Everything I get from them is beautiful. I love their Instagram feed. I get their emails. Like, they just have such a great vibe. I love it. I wish I lived in Montana so I could just go over there and talk and buy their things, you know, in person. But I don't. I buy it in the mail. It did create an issue, which I'll share with you, but it was worth it. It's all good. Anyway, Easy V. You see? I did the color work. It has spin cycle in a few colors. So that's where you get like the color changing bit. And it made it impossible to stop because you just wanted to see what the next color would look like. And it comes around to new things. The base feels really great. I had so much fun making it. The neckline is honestly, like when you wear it, it starts like spreading out. I think it would really be fun to wear kind of like off the shoulder. So next time I wear it, I did wear it to work, which was fun. I think I want to try and wear it off the shoulder because it does get quite wide. So if you don't love a wide neckline, either go down a size, which this has plenty of positive V's, like it's huge, which I love. Like I want a big sweater. I don't like tiny things really. So either go down a size or maybe cast on for a smaller sized neckline and do more increases like in the body so that you can get kind of that better fit up here. Otherwise it is like, people are going to see your bra. So wear a shirt under it or strapless. I don't know. Do you? But it is very wide. It's a wide neck. But it was so bad. So yeah, I want more. I want to make it again. I think it's amazing. And it was such a neat construction. Like the neck was really fun. It comes with these shoulders, like that's the shoulder. So it's not raglan. It was really interesting to make. And then the yarn was beautiful. I hadn't used Spin Cycle before. It is a little pricier, so I'm sure you can find color changing yarn that is more affordable. I've heard Yarn Hero does really good, like color changing yarn that kind of mimics this Spin Cycle. So, you know, go out and find it, make things, or just make them solid. I used one solid color. I was trying to be frugal and not get 3 different colors of the Spin Cycle. So I got one Recollect worsted in this blue color to kind of, I was hoping to offset the cost. I should have just gone for it. Like, I saved maybe 15 bucks and felt really good about that, but it would have been worth it to just have another bit of color. I loved it. So when I make it again, I'm going to go all Spin Cycle. It was really fun. I liked the color changing. I wasn't sure how it would look. And of course, you don't know, I'm kind of a hyper planner. I don't really like the improv feel that some people love. So I was a little worried, like, are these going to go together? Again, I wasn't in person. I'm just buying it online, hoping that they would work out. And you don't know what it really looks like until you get it. So I like what I chose. I think it worked really well. I'm like proud of myself for A, doing something that I wasn't sure how it would turn out. And then B, it turned out great. So you should all try it. I liked it. I went up a needle size during the colorwork rows. So like I would knit, I didn't swatch. I've been really bad about that lately. I don't know if any of you are excellent swatchers. I apparently am just going to roll the dice right now. I couldn't be bothered. I really should not have done that. I don't know. It's going to bite me in the butt someday, and you'll be all here to hear it. But anyway, I just used her recommended needle like on the plain rows, and then switched. I went up like a half size once the colorwork started, and any row that did not have colorwork, I went down. So I did switch even within the colorwork. If there was a row that was just plain the color, like there was about 1 each color change that was just the color itself. You didn't have to like carry a yarn behind. I would go back down. So then when I blocked it, in case your colorwork is tight, you have that little extra give because each round went around that little extra bit of needle. So when you block it, it all just sits really smoothly. And that worked well for me. Maybe if I was better at colorwork or like trust myself more, you wouldn't have to do that if you could be sure you were giving it enough room. I just wasn't. So I went up and it worked perfectly. I also did helical knitting with the body because it is hand-dyed yarn. So on a hand-dyed skein, you're going to have parts of it that did not take the dye like exactly the same, right? So it's not one uniform color. If you use like a commercial dyed yarn, you'd probably be totally fine. But hand-dyed is like each skein has its own little snowflake, right? It's unique. So as you go in a circle, that one part of the yarn that maybe did not take the yarn, the dye the same, will be lighter or darker. So you'll see as you come around, it will start pooling, right? And like leaving a bit of the color that looks different, and it can look really funky when you're done. I know I've done that to myself in the past. So I did helical knit. So you can tell like where the lighter bit is then interrupted because I used a different skein of yarn as I came around, and then it would have that lighter. And so it really broke it up. So on the sleeves, it's even, I think, more noticeable, but in the body, it really gave you a more overall even color, you know, because it's broken up where the lightness is. Otherwise, you would have really big pools of that differing color. So I recommend helical knitting. It's super simple. There was a tutorial on YouTube that I used. Again, I should get my diploma any day now. But it works really well to kind of help everything just blend out, you know, just evens everything out so that the body looks nice, not so in your face with that one off bit of color. So yeah, helical knitting. You kind of just stop early before you get to that second ball of yarn and pick up a few stitches, and then go around with a new yarn, stop early, you know, slip to the old yarn and go back around. It's really simple, so you can totally do it. Easy way to make your sweaters look really nice if you like hand-dyed yarn, which I do. I love it. So now we're on to what I am currently knitting. I'm trying to get rid of whips I've had sitting around because, as I said, I've been acquiring a lot of yarn and I want to actually get through it. I want to get to it. So you have to, at some point, stop acquiring yarn and start eating all that yarn that you bought. So, like, I have several sweaters worth of yarn. I need to get those before I can buy the next sweater yarn. So I put some rules in place, and I'm gonna try and just knit only what I have, which sucks because there's beautiful yarn and patterns and things coming out all the time. I'm sure you know, it's really tempting. So I just started working through what I have. It's been fun. You should do it too. No, don't. Go out and buy all the things because I can't. Make me sad. Not because anyone said, just because I only have one tiny room and you have to actually use the things in it, or I'm going to need 2 tiny rooms, and that's not going to work out. So anyway, I started the sequence sweater. Let me see if I can get her picture since I have the work right here. Here it is. Can you see? Sequence sweater by Petite Knit. I love her patterns. I've probably made 3 or 4 things that she has written. She just has like the most classic style. They're really beautiful. Like what she makes is really beautiful. It always has a weird, to me, construction, like things that I haven't tried before. They're never really simple raglans, really. You know, they have a lot of shaping in the back, or like you'll start with the back, almost make this weird trapezoid in the back and then build from there. But that then gives the sweater like better structure. It looks better because it has a bit more like technical build to it. So it fits really nice and it looks more professional. I don't know. That's not the word I want, but you know what I mean? Looks a little nicer. So I love her patterns. So yeah, I'm at my second stripe. Can you see? It's a rib, so it's like purl knit. Yep, we did it. What I didn't mean to do is get black. Can you see how black this is? I thought on the website, this is Farmer's Daughter Fibers. Again, they just have beautiful yarn. So I got, it's like a single ply yarn with mohair. I will try and split it so you can see. Right, you hold them together. Makes a really fun, fuzzy project. So I went on there and got some colors, right? No problem. I thought this was dark gray on the site. I think the color's called Legend. It did not look like this. It did not look like a black hole of yarn. It is. It showed up and I was like, that is quite black. So I was a little worried because, again, starting this sweater, it has like a technical bit to it. It's a little tricky, and black yarn is like impossible to see. So as you're starting, it was really tricky. The raglan itself is like this 5 stitches, right, in between. Let me see if you can see it in the white. It's like, you see how it has stitches in between, and then you kind of increase off of the size of this, right? So as you come to it, it's a rib. So every time you come around, it's different. One time you need an increase as if you're knitting, and the other time as if you're purling, right? It's no big deal when you can see it. Very simple. In the black, it was like torturous. I worried the entire time that I was going to get around and not have the right amount of stitches, or they would be like the wrong purl knit like on the ends, so that it would come together and be a mess. But magically, somehow, it worked. I did it right. I don't even know how, but once I joined in the round, it was like, you know, deep breath. They came together and it was right. So I really lucked out. The knitting gods were like smiling down on me. Look how dark it is. It was so stressful. So yeah, now I'm sailing on the sweater because the white is like, you know, so much easier. Yeah, it was quite stressful. But anyway, my other colors are really fun. I can't wait to get to them. I've got like this purple. Let me see if I can dig it out. Here's my fun bag. It's a purple color. Is coming next. See, we're gonna hold that together. Also, this was darker than I thought, so I was glad I got kind of an off purple. I don't think they had this exact one dyed up, like the, you know, corresponding color. So I chose one that was lighter, and I'm really glad I did. I think once it comes together, it'll be really fun. And then I got like a gold brown combo after that. Ta-da! Fun, right? And then it'll go back to black. Yeah, which is fine. We can end on black, that's fine. Starting, heart attack territory, but we made it. It worked. So just be careful. Legend to them is black. It looked gray, like this gray. It looked dark. Black. You've been warned. I'm out here spreading the good news. But it's going to be so pretty. I'm really happy with it. I love their yarn so much. And I think the pattern will be fun. Again, I had been making really plain things. So then that Easy V was like a fun burst of something different. And these stripes are something different. You know, I want different sweaters that I love wearing. So yeah, that's what we're doing. It's good. And then another thing I had put down, we went on a trip for fall break. And so I don't know if you're like me, but most of my packing for trips is trying to figure out what I want to do on the plane. Like which projects I want to bring. I spend so much time worrying about it because it has to be easy enough to like do in an airport or on a plane, or to set down and not like lose your place or, you know, mess it up. But entertaining because, you know, you're bored and traveling. So it's always a bit of a struggle to get just the right thing to take. So I thought I had found it. Okay, so this is, what's it called? The Lone Skein Shawl by Joji Locatelli. I have not made a shawl of hers in a really long time. But I love her designs, and I thought this was fun because it was just one skein. So I didn't have to pack a lot of yarn, because that's always the fear, is that like I'll get too far in the project and not have what I need, which is never the case. I always bring like, you know, 20 days worth of knitting, like just in case I somehow power through this whole thing, you know, magically. Please tell me you do that too. Anyway, this time I was being smart, right? So I had a single skein project, really simple pattern. No, I should have read the pattern better. It was not simple, and it had a ton of counting and like really special stitches and repeats to make this lace on this single skein shawl, which I should have known. I don't know what I was thinking. I just fell in love with the idea of taking a single skein and pick this project, and it was tough on a plane to figure this out. I definitely had to undo it a few times. I'll show you what I got. So like that's the skein of, I don't know if you can see, it's who dyed this? Hugh Loco. It's called Sittin' Pretty. This is such a pretty skein of yarn. Her colors are beautiful. I don't know if you can see it better here. It's like a purpley with all these other, it was such a fun fall like color. I really love the yarn. And as I was making it, like, you fall in love even more. Every stitch is like this really fun surprise. So, but the pattern was so fiddly. Like, oh gosh, just slipping these are fine. But in between is this lace, which you can't even see. It hasn't been blocked right, but it's lace in between there, which I did execute successfully. So that's great. I'm not super, I don't usually make lacy things. There you can see it better. It's like there's the shawl so far. And you block it, like you really stretch it out, right? To make this skein go really far. It's on bigger needles, so you know it's fingering weight yarn, but you use bigger needles so it has like a really airy feel, and it gives you like just a little thing around the neck. You know, it's not supposed to be a blanket or anything, but it's a nice way to showcase like a ball of yarn you've been sitting on, right? You don't want to use it on the wrong thing. It's a really fun project. I would recommend it. Like, I think it's going to be really pretty. It was the wrong vacation thing. So I got mad when I got home and set it aside. It was in timeout. Punished for my incompetence. But I did pick it back up. And I was like, I gotta finish it. I don't want to let it sit. And what's worse is you think you'll remember where you were. You're like, okay, clearly I'm on row 8. Like, I know where I have to start. Like, it's that many stitches. It's gonna be fine. And when you come back to it like 6 weeks later, you never remember. This is me telling you, you won't remember. Write it down, mark it like heavily, something. Leave yourself a note because you won't remember. So before I forgot, I was like, I'll just pick it up and finish it. It's not that big, it'll be fine. And it has been fine. I'm to this big point of just some garter in the middle, and I think it'll finish with another bit of lace and then be done. So yeah, I don't have too much left. Maybe half? I don't know. It'll go fast now that I'm on the garter part. That is what I should have had on vacation, is that part. That's what I wanted. It didn't work out. Learn from my mistakes. Yeah, the yarn is so pretty though. So that was worth it. It was fun. Listen to a book and like knit. It's everyone's dream vacation, right? That's what I want. It's just the perfect project. And time alone to knit it. It's all good. And then 2 things I'm working on for sewing. I've not been sewing as much. I don't know why. I don't know. I just haven't been knitting a lot. So, you know, deal with it. God, because they're so pushy. I'm just kidding. It's been fun. I did start another English paper piecing project. I think I showed you one forever ago. I didn't finish it because I didn't like it. I think it's the fabric that I had chosen to make it with. I just didn't like it. And so it's like 50% done. It could be finished in a week. Am I gonna finish it? Probably not. It'll just take up a drawer forever, shaming me. But anyway, I had this bundle that I bought. I think it's from Cotton Ear forever ago. And I thought I would just make a fun, scrappy quilt. And instead of cutting them up, I decided to just try English paper piecing. I think I was at my local quilt store and saw these papers. So, like, the worst part of English paper piecing is, of course, cutting out the shapes and like attaching them to the papers, right? Nobody wants to do that. These were iron-on. So you like put them on the fabric, iron them on, and then cut around. And you didn't have to remove the papers. They're water soluble. So when you're done, you wash your project and they kind of like disappear. It's amazing. So yes, that is the kind of English paper piecing I'm into. Apparently, I've been doing it a lot. So it's working. I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, I'll show you. It's like these. I've made so many little hexagons. Aren't they so cute? Ugh. The fabrics are really fun. They're just a mix. I'm assuming she just put together random ones she had. And they're so pretty. I don't know. I've got probably 10, 12 of these. Let me count. Now I have to know. We have to be accurate. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14. That's pretty good, right? They're so pretty. And so yeah, I think I'm just gonna put them all together in a quilt top. I don't even know. The area these cover probably is like 3 foot by 3 foot. Like I'm not near blanket size yet, but I have a ton of fabric and a ton of those water soluble papers, which is magic. So yeah, I just like carry around this little compendium of random fabrics and put them together however I want. It's working. I love that it's not, it doesn't matter which ones I put together. It just has so much less thinking involved than I think the other project did. I love it. I think it's turning out really pretty. I'm kind of proud of myself. Like you can't see the stitches. They're fitting together really nicely. So I'm very proud. I think it looks nice for my first real project. So I'm assuming 10 years from now we'll finish it, but you know, I'll show you then. God. Ugh. This is the other one. This is a quilt that I have made 3 times. So I'll show you what started it off. This is a magazine, quilting magazine, right? My grandma had a subscription. And so I forget why, right after I started quilting, what was I? 22 maybe? So at the time I wasn't sure how I wanted to quilt. I had like a small sewing machine that I had used for my first quilt. My grandma had always hand quilted. So I was gonna give that a shot. She was showing me kind of how she did that. And she gave me some of her quilting magazines. You know, patterns are expensive. And I was poor. So she gave me this. And I loved the, this particular one, which is probably from, I don't know, 2004. I'm sure you can go right out and find it. But anyway, it was all flannel. All the patterns in it were flannel, which I thought was fun. So I loved this pattern here. Isn't it neat? It's called Gentleman's Fancy. So I made it for myself. I got very cheap flannel. I think it's from Walmart. I got flannel from Walmart and put it together. I had no idea what I was doing. So honestly, like the quilting in it is, I maybe put a few ties in it and kind of considered it good. And so now my oldest son loves this blanket, even though it has holes in it. Like, oh my gosh, they're so big. The stuffing, like the batting is falling out. Like it's a mess. It's a mess of a quilt because I didn't quilt it. And flannel especially like demands that you quilt it. So I made it again right after I got married. I made it for my husband and I used nicer flannel and I quilted it a little bit more. Still not enough. And I think he put it away because he loved it so much. We were using it so much that it started to look like it was going to give up the ghost as well. So he like put it away, which is useless. Like a quilt should be used. That's the point. Just because it's like a lovely memory sitting in a box, like I don't want that. So I'm kind of sad. Maybe we'll just get it out and use it until it's like a dog blanket. I don't know, but I hate that it's sitting in there. So again, my son is obsessed with this flannel blanket that's falling apart. So I made it again. I made Gentleman's Fancy a 3rd time. I don't know why this is my go-to flannel pattern, but apparently it is. It's really fun to make. It's very easy. Like the pattern itself is not super difficult, but flannel sucks. It sucks so much to sew with. My whole sewing room was just covered in like a film of flannel dander. Like got in my machine so much. Flannel is no fun, but I do think this time I was more successful because I really shortened the stitch length when I did all the piecing, right? So like these seams are really strong, which is great. And then I decided to hand quilt it. I don't know why I've been on such a hand quilting kick lately. it's just, I really like the way it finishes. Like the quilt itself is just so much more soft, and I don't know, it gives like warm cozy more than a lot of machine quilting. It makes it very stiff, right? And I don't know, it's like unwelcoming. Somehow you have to break it in like a new pair of jeans or something, which is not the best, but hand quilting just immediately feels great. So I was like, I'll hand quilt it. But then as I was hand quilting it, so I went down like the long lines and I crisscrossed each of these big blocks, and I was just going to put like something small in each of the, you know, quadrants of that block. And then I panicked that again, I was going to waste this quilt by not quilting it enough. So I just plunged in and decided to quilt every inch by hand. So you can see I just moved in an inch and quilted another triangle all the way down. And it is taking so long. It's taking so long to do, but it should last. If you guys hear me in another 10 years complain about the next gentleman's fancy I make, like, please slap the flannel out of my hand. But he's gonna love it. I know he's gonna love it, and hopefully it will last. Like, I imagine him taking this to college and it's still functioning as a blanket. We'll see. But yeah, it's just a really nice size. It's got like it's 3 by 2 of these squares. See? I picked different colors. I thought he'd like that. So they're all different. Oh, see if I can get the last one. Right? Fun! And yeah, quilted within an inch of its life. So, will you last? We'll find out. So yeah, I've got 3 more of the squares to quilt. I'm trying to get through them. It is labor intensive, but worth it. It's worth it. See, it's just begging to be filled in. Yeah, that's, I think, how much I quilted my husband's blanket. And I thought that would work. What was I thinking? I don't know. I should have just machine quilted it, but it'll be fine. So yeah, that's what I'm quilting. See, I'm making quilty things. I'm sewing. Not a lot. I should sew more. There are other things that I wanted to do with, I haven't made like a little knitted toy in a while. I love making little knitted toys. They're so fun. Like, it doesn't matter what you choose, just making something small. It's so fun. It's so fun. So yeah, I've got a couple of those in mind. I haven't made a doll in forever. I think I need to do that. So there's a lot more coming, and I have so many sweaters to choose from. You guys will have to help me winnow it down after I get through this sequin sweater. So I don't think it'll take me that long. Maybe next time I talk to you guys, I'll have one of these things finished. Wish me luck. I'm trying not to move on to other things. I want to finish these things so that I can start fresh and start hacking through all this amazing yarn I have sitting around. It's just begging to be awesome stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's going to be a really good year of making things. I'm excited. Again, I feel like I have, you know, my mojo, my making mojo back. I'm enjoying making things. Are you? Are you done? Are you gift knitting? I'm making no gift knitting. I always knit something for gifts, but I feel like everyone's sick of it. Like, maybe no one wants a hat. I want to make them hats. I don't know. I didn't make any gift knitting. My family doesn't like fall over backwards for the things I knit. So, and it takes so much time, and it's not inexpensive. So if no one's like blown over, maybe they just prefer a gift card, you know, and that's fine. It does not hurt my feelings. I love like handmade gifts, but not everyone does. So you have to find the right people to receive your gifts, right? That are knit worthy or quilt worthy, that are going to love them. They are difficult sometimes to maintain and use, and I'm not saying it's for everyone. Please, family, I don't care if you I don't take it personally. A gift is not an obligation to like deal with my knitting for the rest of your life. It's fine. I'll make other things for myself and buy you awesome presents off the interweb. Deal. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully I'll have a few of these things done. And we'll talk next fun things. Happy knitting. Bye guys.